Well, I remember when I was a kid, I want to say I was probably 7 or 8. My dad wanted me to learn the very, soft skills, like the very easy skills perhaps of using tools. So we would get out wrenches and we would practice turning bolts, or he had me in the driveway with a 2x4 with some nails and a hammer, practicing how to swing a hammer, just to be able to have those skills because it's important. And then I was able to hang pictures in the house when I was a kid, or he'd get me involved in washing his car or maybe like fixing his car, small things like that. Even though my dad never thought that it would pay off as though I would, pursue it full time as a career, it was still exposure, and it was still not that stigma that I see sometimes where people are like, no, you don't need to know that. Like, we hire a guy to do that. I think it's really valuable to expose your children to still using their hands and knowing how stuff works, because that often leads to a lot of curiosity. It certainly did with me. I would also point out that in I remember there was very little funding for my technology courses in middle school, like 7 and 8. Then when I got to high school, I certainly went to a school that had a pretty well-funded tech program, and it was built right after World War II. So we had like pretty decent, concrete floor, really big shops with a lot of machines and metal, a lot of availability for students to learn. But I would still go to guidance, and guidance would more or less push me away from pursuing this because of the stigma. So I think in terms of age, it's definitely good to expose your kids in elementary to use tools or talk about the different trades that are available, and probably not talk down about the trades, to expose them as though they're good careers. And then the education in middle and high school needs to be well funded. We're screaming for tech teachers. We're crying for this form of education because, a lot of people either don't pursue it, or there's like really, really good money to be made once you're in the trades. And unless you want summers off, perhaps you don't really think of teaching. So we need investment within these programs and really good teachers who believe in these students, who don't just treat them like clowns. And then guidance counselors that are perhaps willing to say that this is a good career, this is what you could make, show the statistics, and make these students feel like they're not lesser if they don't go to university. So definitely having like better funding or exposing kids all the way throughout school in elementary, middle, and high school, that goes a really long way, because the skills that you learn at that point in your life either show that you are good at working with your hands and you really enjoy it, or perhaps you're not, and that's not something you want to pursue. But either way, having those skills built up going into an apprenticeship or pursuing it once you graduate, it means a lot to have that under your belt.